greenhouse head house down at the Coastal Biology Building, and this is where we store all of our seeds. Most of our stuff is stored in a freezer due to the fact that freezing or cooling seeds really helps achieve a longer viability. Most seeds will stay good for a couple of years, although keeping them at a cooler temperature can definitely increase viability by a few years more. Some of our collections date back to 2011. They've been kept in cold storage since that time for the most part. Yeah, let's take a look. So everything in here is organized alphabetically. We have these baskets that has the first letter of the genus, and for the most part it is packed to the brim. We've got a lot of different stuff. Right here on top we've got Trifurcaria versicolor, Symphyotrichum chilense, as well as Tridolea hyacinthina. So we've got some really cool wildflowers right here, as well as some other grasses and stuff. Stipa pulchra, super nice plant. I'm going to introduce you guys to a couple of the different seeds that we deal with. This one right here is pretty cool, Lupinus arboreus. This is that yellow bush lupin that you sometimes see in coastal areas. Its native range is from here south. It's a really interesting, super fast growing lupin, and the flowers smell amazing. So if you see a big plant with these big yellow spikes of flowers, it might be lupin. Lupin has kind of like that palmate leaf style, so it's kind of like a hand with like 5 fingers. It's also a Fabaceae, so you can see that these are kind of almost looking like beans or peas. That is pretty characteristic amongst the Fabaceae. Another species we have here is Juncus occidentalis. These seeds are super fine. It's really pretty hard to clean it to be really 100% seed, but they're a really good one to grow. This is blue-eyed snakegrass or Scissorincium bellum. It is also a really fine seed. It's kind of easier to clean and a little easier to work with because they're a little bit larger than seeds like Juncus. Getting into grass, here is Danthonia californica. This is like the quintessential grassland species of California, and you basically just have all of these like seed parts. The seed is within all of these kind of like chaff, like awns and everything. You can see collecting seed is definitely easier from some species, more so than others. This right here is Grandelia stricta, which is a flower species that we often use in our transplanting. They are super heavy seeders, as well as some species just can't really be cleaned just to the seed. As you can see, it kind of looks like a mix of a bunch of different stuff in there, and that's likely because they are just broken up. A lot of the asters have really small seeds, and it's just really hard to pull out those from like the chaff or the other parts of the seed head. One interesting thing about asters is that they're not really like the vegetable seeds that you see in grocery, like that you buy to grow gardens and stuff. They're kind of like these interesting, really like long, thin, slender pieces. Kind of can see here, but they're super minute. It's pretty hard to tell even from here what exactly is the seed. So we basically are just going to be sowing out all of this mix in mass to ensure that we get good germination. And that in itself is another reason why we germinate in flats, because it's pretty hard with some of these species to discern what's going in what. So with some of this grass seed, you have a lot of the seed covering materials, but not a lot of the seeds themselves. So basically when we're planting these out, germination rates can be super low, especially depending on what year is collected. This Danthonia was collected in 2017, so it has a pretty high likelihood of being viable. One of the issues we have with Danthonia is that it's really hard to get it to establish in the wild. As we have a lot of success growing it, it's actually just really difficult to make it reseed and thrive in our restoration plots. So here in our seed vault we have 3 stacks of trays for the most part, And most of our accessions in here are from 2015 to 2020, although we still have a lot of seed material from the early days of the reserve around 2011 to 2015, and we are using those to augment our restoration sites, basically coming in and spreading the seed out over these areas because viability definitely decreases after that amount of time. A lot of California species are capable of being stored for a pretty decent amount of time, from a couple of years to even more so. Basically, a lot of these seeds can be stored in seed banks and be viable in the soil for a really long period of time. Certain species that we've grown, such as Escos californica or Buckeye, are recalcitrant seeds, which means that they cannot dry out or they will be not viable. So we recently grew some, and you have to keep them wet from basically seed drop to transplant. They grow really, really quickly, although some dried out and they're completely unviable.